Okay, I still don't know how to raise money for the clinic that I need to go to, but I want to talk about the value of a whistleblower. The whistleblower is really a healer of community. Like the whistleblower sees something wrong, like if you look at a patient and you scan them and you can see like, what's out of harmony, and then you go and, whatever skills you have, you go and adjust it. Okay. And so when my whistleblower opportunity came up, I didn't know I was going to be a whistleblower. And I had an office and I had a practice and I was writing a book, and I went to Greece to tour the ancient healing sites of Asclepios, and it was a healing method or way that was around the Mediterranean. They found sites in Rome. They're in all over Greece. They're all over Turkey and the Mediterranean, and the Middle East. And Asclepios, it went on. This type of healing went on for about was popular for about 2,000 years, and our leader, Dr. Edward Tick, started working with vets after Vietnam, and they didn't even call it PTSD then, but he was in the first kind of wave of he was a PhD psychologist that like came up with the name and really started to study it. And and then a medical doctor went, and they were our guides, and then the group was a bunch of healers and a bunch of psychologists, and mainly, and like vets who had become healers. Okay. And so we traveled to the different islands and went to these different sites, and it was, I think it is, Edward Tick has written several books, mostly about, war and the soul and the veteran injury. But he also wrote this book, I think it's called Dream Healing, and it's about Greece and all these places that we went, okay? And we would go and we would do healing and ritual at the different sites. And the name of the tour, I think, was The Roots of Modern Medicine. And during the age of Asclepios, who walked the land barefoot with a staff with one snake going up it, the caduceus of the medical profession, I think, has like two snakes winding around it. Anyway, I have one somewhere. I think it's in my other room. He would walk barefoot, and he was kind of a really gentle, Christ-like figure. and it was like a sleeping cure. And you would go into these chambers and you would sleep and you would have dreams. And you would stay until you had a dream where, like, the gods or Asclepios or somebody came to you and, like, gave you the cure or did the cure in the dream, okay? And that's pretty basic explanation, okay? But the basic idea behind it was that the medicine was attributed to the gods or the divine and the so-called doctor was just a conduit for the divine. And then when Hippocrates came along, he was born on the island of Kos, which right now is one of the major islands where the boat people land. And I was on that beach in 2006, on that beach where all those people land. But of course, at that time they weren't landing. That problem had not started yet. And it was one of my favorite islands, and they had a huge, like, the ancient medical school that had been there long before Hippocrates, but Hippocrates was born on that island, and he was from a long lineage of Asclepian healers. But what Hippocrates did, he kind of switched the emphasis from the divine coming through and the doctor just being a conduit to, like, the doctor had all this knowledge and the doctor was working the cure. Okay, so that was kind of a point in history that medicine kind of started switching from the divine channel to the knowledge channel, the knowledge cerebellum, knowledge of El Doctor. You know, what you will, okay, what you will. But I was there and going through those experiences and learning that kind of stuff. I don't know why I brought this up. I suppose it's another indicator of my quest to bridge the divine with science. I don't know. I don't know why I brought this up. I think it's because I'm avoiding the question of how do I raise money for me to go to the doctor, the clinic, which is like, I really need the labs and I need the science behind it. Like, I've really studied the science. Like, I don't throw science away. Okay. One of my very, very first healers and very, very first teachers, and actually a continuing teacher, because every once in a while I go and take another class with her, is Rosalind Breer, who was the teacher of Barbara Brennan. Okay, I showed you that book. Okay, so they created, Rosalind Breer and Dr. Valerie Hunt at UCLA did about 15 years of study and research to, they developed the chelation method and did study measurements, etc., clinical studies on the human energy field, measuring the human energy field, the chakras, and things like that. So when people say that there's no research around, like, energy medicine, they're, like, totally wrong. I mean, they were some of the earliest and This was done at UCLA. Some of the earliest, and well, Rosalind started out as a engineer, but she was like the psychic. She's very psychic. She's funny. She actually lives not in Southern California, not that far from me. And Dr. Valerie Hunt. If you ever find books by her, Rosalind wrote one book, but she hates to write, so they just forced her to write it. But and it's okay, but Dr. Valerie Hunt, I like her books. I know I have one somewhere, but you'll see like that especially from Valerie Hunt's books that I think she passed. I'm not sure. That the Barbara Brennan stuff was based on that work. And Rosalind Breer was Barbara Brennan's teacher. I took a class in mediumship from Rosalind when I got back to California because I just needed to touch back with the healers. Okay. And mediumship comes pretty easy. Really easy to me. I don't know. I've got these cards in my hands. I don't know what to do to raise this money. What should I do? Should I just do readings? Should I just do readings? But I don't know how much to charge. See, I have this thing, because I have so much education, like I don't like to undercharge myself. But I don't want to overcharge. I mean, I want people to get a deal, you know, because they're like donating, and it would just be for this Namaste Club. I guess. I don't know. Maybe it'd just be for Facebook. It's a pretty large audience. Okay, I don't know why I'm shuffling these cards. I don't even know why. Okay, let's just pick one. Oppression. I feel oppressed because I don't know what to charge. This is a plea. Release me from my oppression. And like the orange is like the second chakra. The second chakra is like your creativity. So like my oppression is like, my creativity is oppressed. Like every vitality and fertility of my life is oppressed because I can't feel good. So let's get rid of that. Help me get rid of that. Pleasure. Yeah, that's the opposite. Get rid of that and I get pleasure. It's about time. This is even like sexual pleasure. That'd be like a miracle. Okay. Yeah. Cups, pleasure. I don't know. Okay, let's say it costs $10,000 for all the labs, 10 days, A, R, and B. Let's say it costs $10,000. Okay, so $10,000. How do you work that out? Okay, so $1,000 if 20 people paid $50. I can't do math. I have Mercury in Pisces. I don't do math. I gotta find a pen. Okay, let me figure this out. I don't have a pen. So $1,000. Okay, 100 people. No, $1,000. 10 people paying $100 would be $1,000. So 10 times $10,000 would be 10 times 10. That's 100 people. Okay, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people to do readings for. Okay. It may take me a while to do that. I mean, if I got it all done, if say like everybody, if 100 people paid $100 and I owed 100 people and $100, that'd be $10,000, right? I can't think. Help me. Okay, so that would be $10,000, right? 1 0 0 0 0. That would be $10,000, right? I hope so. Okay, let's say 100 people will pay $100 for like an hour with me, and I usually go over. Okay, 100 people pay $100. That would pay for me to go to the clinic, and that would be a reading and some healing work. Okay, and I get a lot done in an hour, trust me. Are you guys going to be happy about that? It'll be worth your money. Okay, it'll be worth your money. And that's a discount. Like I say, when I get my lights on again, I'm going to be charging a lot more, actually. And I used to charge a lot more. So $100. And then it might take me a few months to get everybody in. It just depends. I mean, if I get to the clinic, if I get the money really fast and get into the clinic, then I can work faster afterwards because I'll feel better. But at least everything will get done by April. So 100 clients. If I did 2 a day, that's 50 days. Yeah, I could get it all done in, like, say, 3 months. You know, and I'd really try to get it done faster. I know not everybody's going to have $100. So if you just want to donate something, like, I really appreciate it. And I could do like the raffle thing, you know, like of everybody that paid, say, well, I have this You Care thing, and I could put that up. It has a weird video on it that I don't like, but I can put that up, and people can just pay whatever through there. They suggest $37. But what I could do is, everybody that doesn't just outright buy a reading for $100, I could take everybody's name and then pick 3. Like, after I make all the money after I get out of the clinic, actually, I can pick 3 people that would win a reading and healing combo. And if you just want to book an appointment with me. But $100 is a good price. I might look crazy, but I do really good work. Let me read you a little testimony. I just got this note. Hold on one second. Here I come. Ready or not. Okay, so this person, I can't say their name or if they're a male or a female, but they're an international financier, and they, I always ask for spiritually inclined people, okay? And, you know, wealthy people are spiritual too. And they help set up businesses that are like good for the world, okay? And they were very, they've worked with me for a lot of years. And I often like look at their employees, business ideas and stuff like that, and give them insight. And then they also ask around their friends or family. You know, I have like lawyers. I'll look at court cases. That's fun. And then everybody has their personal stuff. I'm actually pretty good at like business kind of things. And of course, I've proven myself to be a good psychic detective. All right. But anyway, this person was giving a talk to like billionaire millennials, like, you know, in that Silicon Valley area. And anyway, dear Margaret, your gift of insight and healing is extraordinary. This person that he was asking about was a friend who was in a lot of pain, and she'd just gotten over cancer, and they were thinking that it was like stomach pain near the pancreas, and the doctor and everybody was really afraid that it might be pancreatic cancer, and she was like freaking out. But when I tuned into it, I could see like it was some really deep emotional stuff, and I cleared that out and downloaded what she needed. And anyway, the person is no longer stuck I have much more clarity and will proceed with the foundation. Okay, he paid for 2. Okay, so he wanted another session because he was going to go up to this, do this talk in front of these billionaires. Okay, and that went quite well. And I kept getting a boat. I said, you're going to be invited like on a boat. Did that already happen? And he said, no. Well, when he gave his talk, like afterwards, like the next morning or something, he had been invited out. Or he had been invited out to go down somewhere, and some wealthy people on their boat for a meeting. And I have another client that she's been around for decades. My clients really stick with me, okay, because I'm accurate. You don't stick with a reader who's not accurate. And she has like files. She'll write down everything I say. And I don't always remember what I say because I'm in another, trance state, right? And if somebody comes to me and like I have no idea, I don't remember what we talked about last time, but once I get back into that state, I pick up on it again, get to pick up where we left off or remember something. And a lot of times things don't happen like for a long time, okay? But this one person that keeps the files on me, okay? She'll say, "Oh, you said that way back in 1998." And I go, "I did," And then once I like tune into her again, I go, "Oh yeah," and then this and that and this and that. And she said, "Yeah." So, I have a good track record, and like I said, people wouldn't keep coming to me, and I do tend to attract very powerful people, and I've helped a lot of people with, business questions, plus, everybody's got personal stuff and health stuff and stuff like that. Anyway, help somebody make a film once. That was really fun. She would call and I channeled the name of the film. I would see like the scenes, and I remember saying like, is there a storage area that's locked up? And she thought, yeah, there is something like that. I said, get a key and see what's in there. And so she did. She knew who had the key. And there were like a lot of real treasures in there, okay, that were used in the film. And that was really fun because I worked with her for the whole period of time of like when it was just a sort of an idea, and then through the whole filming and the editing and then the whole afterwards, and it won a lot of awards. I like doing that work, and then people who are writing PhD dissertations, or I love the lawyers. like, since all my stuff in Philadelphia, like, you know, I can, like, look into a courtroom and know what the judge is up to and, you know, the other party. And it's not that every case is supposed to be won, okay, but I can, like, see which strategies can, if it is supposed to be won, I can see which strategies can work, and also, you know, like what the lessons are, kind of, and like, if people are lying. I mean, that's really easy to tell who's lying if you're a psychic. I talked to this guy once. It was like, I've never actually done like, you know, like computer dating, but every once in a while I'll put up a profile and pretend like I'm going to do it. Okay. Once in a while I'll talk to somebody on the phone. And so this guy, he was in New York, and we had a few things in common. Like, he would always go to the same museum that I always went to when I would go to New York. And so I was willing to talk to him. And then he asked me, like, so what do you do for a living? And I said, well, I like to do psychic work. And then he said, oh, so I can't lie to you. Okay. And that was the end of it, that possibility of a relationship. And it's funny because, like, I've had, you know, other psychic girlfriends, and we all talk about how a lot of guys really can't stand psychic women because they can't get away with lying. Not that all of you lie, okay? Okay. But it's, during my sojourn through the deep recesses of corruption and lies in Philadelphia, like, I mean, I could tell, like, in a flash, you know, like, who's lying and who's not. You know, of course, the lawyers and politicians lie all the time, you know, and I could always tell. And I would never, like, let them let on, you know, I have a good poker face. But I just let them put their foot in their mouth, and then find my evidence. I was always guided to my evidence. It was like amazing. That was really the only fun part of the journey through the hells of corruption and toxic chemicals in Philadelphia, was the detective work, okay, because it did come through, like, intuition and guidance, and I was really good at it. So, that was fun, okay, but it truly was the only fun part, okay, and anyway, so, I always said they should have hired me instead of, like, crucified me. But we'll see what happens. Okay, well, $100 is like a discount of 50 or 80. Right now, it's like a discount of 50 or $85 on work with me. And then if you just want to donate because you like me, that's good. And then as soon as I can get to the place and get out and be healthy, I'll count up, like, who donated, and then pull 3 names out of a hat, and give a reading to you, but I'm going to ask not for $10 because that's going to be a lot of, it's going to take too much to earn enough money. I need to get to this place as soon as possible. So I'm going to ask for like $20 because I need to get there. I really feel like shit. Okay. Oh. And if you have any requests that if you have any requests that I can like film and put on our page, you know, something you want to learn about or something you want to heal, and I can do a healing meditation. You know, I can do that. I can't do it too often, like maybe once a week or twice a week at the most. But that would be an opportunity for people to be reminded to give me donations so I can get to the clinic. I know you all want me to be well. Okay. I know you all want me to write my book so that I'm writing a book. I have a first draft done. It's in these 2 cases and down there. And I have an editor, a professional editor who's going to edit it for free. And I'm going to try and get it out this year because it's really important. The environment's really important and the corruption problem's very important. And I am playing my part in the new American Revolution in, you know, getting the, I mean, I've been on the front lines of busting corruption and telling the truth and getting crucified for it. Oh, I think I started this. Didn't I start this by just saying how important whistleblowers are? Okay. Like, we're really healers. You know, I always thought of that when I was working with Philadelphia was that, you know, I was trying to heal the city of its corruption and its pollution and all that stuff, you know, but they didn't, you know, they didn't want it. They, you know, they didn't want to be saved. Okay. So I had to get hardcore and present all this evidence and crimes to the feds and this judge and send a few to jail. And I'm actually continuing that right now. I hope I'm done with that part of it before the end of the year. You know, basically putting it in the hands of the authorities so they can deal with it. It's a lot of work. And it's really traumatizing. I have to take a lot of breaks for it because it stirs up my PTSD. Because I just look at all these papers. And in fact, that's something else I need. I'm going to do another little video on that. Hold on.